Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great year, another great episodes coming at you. Ah, damn it.
No way, dude.
Great bunch of episodes coming at you.
You literally just told me that you were not going to mess it up.
Well, I got in my head about the greats. So I said great episodes. And I should have said a bunch of greats episode. We're going to
A
keep
bunch
this
of
in.
greats episode?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god.
Yeah. I'm fucking it up
What a
even more.
disaster.
We're-
The whole year is cursed.
This is staying in. This is staying in because
I know. Yeah, no, I'm the editor. I know it's staying.
because we don't give a shit. And,
Yeah.
and it's much better when we fuck up. But yes, another great year coming at you with some great episodes throughout the year. It's good to be back. This is the start of year 3 for us, right? So super excited. Who would have thunk it? We're still alive.
We're gonna hit the 100 episode mark this year.
Yeah, we're gonna have some hats and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. But it's great. Every time we reach like a milestone, I always say, "Who would have thought that we would still be doing this?" But it is very surprising, and we're happy to still be doing this. I know towards the end of last year, it got a little bit hectic. We weren't releasing as much. Obviously, life happens. Nick had a baby. I had nothing.
You got a cat.
I got a cat towards the end of the year, but I was
That counts.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit that he would die the first couple of weeks, but now my only worry is that I come home and he might have chewed through my computer cable. So hopefully he doesn't do that. But definitely a great year last year for us. We hit 88 episode marks. We will not try and remember that stupid joke that Nick tried to do about the 88 or whatever, real dumb stuff. But
We're good.
Yeah.
It's a fresh year, a fresh start.
Yeah, forget the dumb jokes in 2023. But we had a great year, and we hope to do a lot more this year, both in our personal lives and in our gaming lives. It's going to be another good year of games. But yeah, thanks for being with us, whoever is still with us and whoever is new. We love everybody the same. We're just going to start off with some video game news. We only have really one new news topic to discuss that happened during the holidays. A big topic. We'll discuss those video game news, and then we'll do our best of the year awards. We weren't able to do it before the year ended, but we'll give our best game of the year awards that we personally felt were our best games that we played. We'll do 3 each, and then we'll also, since we do any type of media, we'll do also like movies and TV shows that we really liked for 2023. So let's get started. The big topic that we wanted to talk about, the big news, was the Insomniac hack. If you're not aware, there was a bit of a kerfuffle during the Christmas break. There was a hacker that hacked Insomniac Studios. They demanded, I believe, like $2 million from Sony and Insomniac, so they wouldn't release all the information that they had. But ultimately, obviously, you don't negotiate with terrorists. So they ended up releasing a bunch of information from Insomniac. Most of it was Wolverine footage for their upcoming Wolverine game, information on a live service Spider-Man game that they were working on, information on X-Men games that they were looking to work on. Obviously, this is a big blow. Whenever there's any types of leaks or anything like that, there are leaks. Things happen. If it's stuff like that where it's just upcoming stuff that's around that time, it's not too bad because it's just a leak. But this is a malicious attack. It was a hack. Obviously, with the demand of money. It just made me feel really bad for the studio. Obviously, we talked about how great Insomniac is with all their games and the studio itself, and how they were on such a high, obviously releasing Spider-Man 2 to great sales and great acclaim and all that stuff. And then just to get hacked and have all this information about their future games and their work stuff just get released is very, very bad. And I felt bad for the studio. Obviously, they put in so much work. And with video games, it's definitely different where it's a slow rollout of announcements to kind of hype you up to the game eventually. That's why you have all these conventions and stuff like that. And you get all the information from there. Obviously, they're not going to tell you that they're not going to tease you with information for a game that's coming out 10 years from now or anything like that. Your thoughts on the hack itself?
No bueno. So I think in addition to what you said, I think a lot of employee personal information was compromised. So
Yes, yes,
so it wasn't just like a lot of information around titles, already announced and yet to be announced got leaked. But I think there's genuine security and safety concerns that are now out there because of this hack. So it's, I don't know, it's like a tricky situation. I think it's the gamer nerd in me is like, oh, now I know about all these cool games that I'm excited about. But then it's like, okay, why do we know that? And the reason we know that is because of this like shitty thing that shouldn't have happened. So yeah, it's a shit sandwich. Happens right over the holidays when I think people are, they're coming off of Spider-Man 2 being, very, very successful. They probably have a lot of plans around like winding down a bit. I'm sure that was like super intense trying to get that game out for the holiday season. So I'm sure a lot of people were, hoping to relax a little bit, and I'm sure this created a lot of anxiety and tension for Insomniac employees. So yeah, it's shit. And that's all there is to it. It's as easy as that.
yeah. And I mean, obviously, with all the information coming out, I don't know if you saw any videos or anything like that or concept work, but obviously being on Twitter and stuff like that, I did see a lot of footage of early builds, maybe later builds of Wolverine. I saw some concept art for the Spider-Man live service game, the Spider-Verse one. And this, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this looks horrible," but it's like it's a work in progress. Like it's just videos. It's the same as
That happens all the time. That happened
yeah,
with Grand Theft
yeah.
Auto
I was gonna
6,
say
right? I mean, yeah, it was
the
people like, oh my god, this looks like shit. What the
yeah.
fuck? And it's like, okay.
There was some good, like with the Grand Theft Auto hack last year, whenever it was. There was some good footage of good stuff, and then there was some development stuff. I mean, these are development studios. There's a reason why, you're not seeing this, and it's because you gotta wait till the game is in the right setting. It's in the right state of build to be able to see it, because video game development is hard and it's a long process. And some games, from reading about video game development, I know a lot of studios are like, things sometimes don't come together until the end. Like it doesn't click. Like people working on different aspects of it might not see the full picture until everything's together and then it clicks. So I've watched a little bit of video of it, but it's like, whatever. It's now I've relegated it to the back of my mind where like I probably won't think about it until I see more information, just because I was like, oh, okay, I don't care. I'll wait for the game or whatever.
The one takeaway I had was, and I think we talked about this when maybe it was during our Spider-Man 2 review or just during one of our episodes, but we're like, okay, like Spider-Man 2 is incredible. One of the biggest selling points is the traversal. All the traversal mechanics are just super enjoyable, and zooming around New York is basically like always fun. So then the question was like, okay, well, is there a version of that for Wolverine? Not that it necessarily has to have some crazy traversal mechanic, but just like how is that generally going to work? Is there anything
Yeah,
interesting there?
depending how big they want to go in the world.
Exactly, yeah. And some of the videos I saw, it basically looks like there's a lot of the like Uncharted like climbing mechanics, which I fucking despise.
I
So
think it was. I don't think it was Uncharted climbing mechanics, because he has hands.
It was just like climbing around,
just punching the walls with his claws.
It's like the God of War. God of War has like, it's not as extreme as Uncharted, but like there's some of that in God of War, right? Which it just like drives me crazy. It's like I just hate it. So
I don't think it'll be that boring.
So I'm like,
sense.
please don't have this be a thing where Wolverine is like climbing around on like these predetermined paths, and you gotta like look around and jump across. Like it's like
No, no, I don't think
just
it'll
don't
be
do
that
that.
boring. I think it'll be more aligned to, you know how Spider-Man, when he's running up the wall, it'll be like, because it's a superhero game, so like he's not gonna like, oh,
I don't know, man.
patch after
He
patch.
to me it looked like he was climbing like Kratos does. Like
Well, I didn't, like I said,
fucking
I didn't see enough of the footage, so you
yeah.
know, and it's still
It's,
early development. We're estimating what, 2025 release for this.
um.
I mean, obviously they
Well,
didn't say any.
yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember. I remember there being like some sort of like roadmap slide that got leaked, but I know there was rumors that it was this year, but that doesn't seem likely. Um, but yeah, you know, maybe late this year or sometime next year
Um,
seems to be the where it's slated.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on the unannounced games, which are the X-Men games. Obviously, them working on the two Spider-Man game, working on the Wolverine game, will probably lead into an X-Men game. And this shows how much trust, obviously, Sony has with them to give them this other IP, and obviously how well they've done for the Marvel, you know, video game. Genres or whatever, the Marvel games that have been released, they're one of the best studios to do it. I'm super excited for it, honestly. Like, I think if done right, and I think that they can do it right. We haven't had a really good X-Men game in a while, since, like, I think Ultimate Alliances. Those games were really good, but those left a lot to be desired, kind of thing. And this all, obviously, when you are involving more superheroes, a la Guardians of the Galaxy, a la what, I just had the other fucking game, Marvel Avengers and all that stuff. It becomes a little bit more complicated, because it's not about individuality, it's more about a group dynamic, and you want everybody to kind of feel different. But I do have high hopes that Insomniac, you know, can take that franchise and make it good again. Are you excited? I know you're a big
Make X
X-Men
Men
fan.
good again.
Yeah, don't.
That's a hat.
And this is the year of X-Men, with the animated series coming back, and, you know, announcements.
Well, the X Men game's not coming out for
Yeah, five,
six more
you know,
6 years or
like that.
something.
Yeah.
So I don't, you know, we'll see whether I'm alive when it comes out. But
Yeah. That's my only hope, that I'm alive for when the good games are coming out.
yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, good to have plans. It's like, okay, I need to make sure I'm alive until at least 2030 to make sure I can play this X Men game that I'm very excited about. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm very excited. You know, of studios who could potentially take on like that type of game of, you know, I would imagine it's like a fairly expansive team game with individual. You know, it's maybe, I guess Suicide Squad would be. I think for Suicide Squad's too much of like it's like a shooter.
Yeah,
Like
but
it's like a shooting game, but like, so it's like the you know, de-emphasize the shooting, but it's like that, you know, that type of game.
gotcha.
But it's X-Men characters, which I much prefer versus, you know, DC, specifically Suicide Squad. So yeah, so, you know, I'm of course very excited to see what how that kind of shakes out, and presumably, you know, Wolverine will be, you know, kind of like the first glimpse into what the broader X-Men universe looks like. They've just done such an incredible job with Spider-Man in terms of really every character. You know, not just the Spider-Man, but also all the villains and supporting characters. Like, so you have to imagine they're gonna, you know, have that same level of quality with the X-Men, with the X-Men universe. So
Yeah, and then the last one is, what did you feel about the canceled live service Spider-Man game? I don't know if you saw the concept art and stuff like that, but it's just
thank
basically,
God.
what,
Thank
really?
God.
It's just basically like a whole bunch of different spider personas, and you were doing
They can
raids and
just do
stuff like that.
that. They can just do that, and it's not a live service game. Like
Yeah,
that might.
I feel like everybody's kind of leaning too much into live service games, but yeah, you're right. They could do like a multiplayer aspect of Spider-Man and just introduce all these spider people.
I don't even remember what. Well, I guess it was The Last of Us. Had their like live service game canceled,
Yeah,
and that was
womp
before.
womp.
And I think, yeah, I think we were theorizing around, is there a broader recalibration of how deep Sony's investing into live service games? And we were having that conversation before I think we even knew this game existed. So it's kind of interesting to see yet another planned live service title, get the axe before it even gets really far at all into development.
But this was definitely one of the ones that got canceled.
Yeah,
when they said that they canceled 6 or 12 or whatever.
I think that makes sense. Like, I think that's like I was honestly like, as someone who loves Spider-Man 2, I love Spider-Man in general. You'd think I would just want more Spider-Man for the sake of Spider-Man, but I just feel like there's this like continued trend of overfitting the live service model to things, and that was like a breath of fresh air with Spider-Man 2. Was just like, okay, I paid $70. It's not insignificant, but it was a full price title. I got a lot of hours out of it. A lot of the like skins and all these other collectibles and things like that I could see them trying to like figure out a way to convert all that to microtransactions or whatever. But I don't know. Like I just feel like you kind of like kill the Spider-Man, whatever they're going to do with the Spider-Man franchise. Like, it's hard for me to imagine that there's like a live service game that coexists with that.
Yeah, it's hard to nail it, and it gets stagnant after a little bit. So I do hope, obviously we know they're working on Spider-Man 3. I do hope maybe for that they do add a multiplayer aspect to it where you can play as these other spider heroes, especially since they're going to be introducing more, at least for a little bit, like a small multiplayer aspect of it. Don't make it a live service game. Like you said, not everything needs to be a live service game. I think it just ruins it. But some multiplayer aspects definitely make it more enjoyable. And who doesn't want to be Spider-Man with their friends, or Spider people?
Wasn't a Venom game leaked too?
There was, I think it's in the same vein, no pun intended, as Miles Morales, where I think because they got so much material from Tony Todd with a lot of lines and stuff like that, I think they're looking to do a smaller Venom focused expansion or DLC, whatever it is, to kind of hold everybody over. So I would play the heck out of that. Spoiler alert, when we talked about it in our Spider-Man review, the Venom, there's a small section where you play as Venom, and we both thought that was amazing. Feels like the character definitely feels different than Spider-Man Peter Parker and Spider-Man Miles Morales. You just felt like Venom, and that was awesome. So hopefully, there was no solid release or anything like that, but hopefully we see it sooner rather than later. And that's the thing with the year just starting. There's a lot of stuff that's unannounced, and Sony doesn't really have anything in their catalog that we know of that's big besides any third-party games that they need some shit.
That's a whole other conversation.
That is, yeah. All right, so that wraps up our little Insomniac Hack news that we wanted to talk about. We're gonna move into our Best of the Year awards, much like we did last year.
Awards?
Well, yeah. We don't have any awards.
What do these people win?
They don't win anything. We award them that they were the best games that we would recommend to people to play and all that stuff.
Okay.
But
that means a lot. So
that means a lot. Pressing buttons.
I just wanted to make sure.
Once we hit it big, it's like, let's go back and see who Pressing Buttons gave their game awards.
Starfield.
Yeah, no. Nobody. I don't think either of us played Starfield.
I played it for 30 minutes and wanted to fucking punch myself in the face.
There you go. Starfield not getting an award. But yeah, 2023 is arguably one of the best years for gaming. There was so many bangers that came out in 2023. So much time. And also was a great year for Nick and I, because Nick and I were able to finish a lot more games than we usually finish in any given year. We made it our goal. We'll have to go back and in next episode we'll get a solid count, but I feel like we did finish a lot of games, right, this year? Like
Oh yeah. I was going to ask you, like, how many, like, for a typical year, how many games do you actually finish?
Oh, like,
and from
like probably like 8, I would say.
8?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was gonna say like 2.
Oh no.
Like I play a lot of games, but I've been so bad about finishing them.
Yeah.
Maybe like quarantine was kind of like a weird period, so maybe
Obviously more time.
Ignoring that, but like generally speaking, it's like, for me at least personally, it's not a lot. Mainly because I just always had a hard time completing games, even though I play a lot of games.
Yeah.
But that was just like not the case this year. Like I was just
We were
crushing video games.
We were committed. Hey, at the
I
beginning,
can't even like count. I would need to like focus and study,
yeah.
what happened this year to like actually do the count.
I think we were just more committed because remember at the beginning of 2023 we were like, let's finish some games and then at the end of the year we'll come back to it and see. So next week we'll have those numbers up for you, exactly how many games we finish, and we'll set some new goals for 2024. Some new video game goals. It's always good to have some video game goals. But let's get right to it. Like I said, we're gonna do our top 3 games that we played last year. They didn't have to be released in 2023 because my biggest one will be a surprise.
First of all, I feel like that makes no sense that it can be just like any game that you just happen to play in the year.
Yeah, that's why it's not like the game of the.
But I'll allow it because I know what the game is. Yeah, because
but also because you also did it last year. You did.
No? What do you mean?
You did. I'll talk about it when I pick it. But you did the exact same thing that I'm doing.
This is some revisionist history bullshit. Okay.
Anyways, but we're gonna do our video games. We're gonna start off with some honorable mentions, and then we'll do the great movies and TV that we saw this year. So for my honorable mentions, these are games that we played together. We played some of these together, but also games that I really liked. Not necessarily, obviously. Not everybody had liked them. I know there's a couple in here that people were like, oh, I thought these were going to be good and they weren't. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy them. We'll start off with Wild Hearts. Definitely good game. Not a lot of people played it. I think I was just itching for some Monster Hunter. Dead Space Remaster, I feel like they really nailed it. It looks great. Definitely kept that horror in there. Remnant 2, really enjoyable. Nick and I played it a lot together. And it's really fun. Armored Core 6 from Software. Thank you for giving us this year. I know we're still looking forward to that Elden Ring DLC, but Armored Core 6, really, really enjoyable. I still got to beat that one. Lies of P, surprisingly a very, very good Soulsborne. I think one of these days we're going to have to do an episode where we rank our Soulsborne from least Soulsborne to most Soulsborne. Alan Wake 1 and 2, I played the remaster of Alan Wake, and then obviously played part 2. That was in a lot of Game of the Year's list. We still gotta do that review because definitely a lot of thoughts on that. Marvel Spider-Man 2, like we talked about, and we did a review for. Fucking amazing. Jedi Survivor, really enjoyable game. I know it was put in the backlog with so many amazing games for the year, but really great game. Final Fantasy 16, obviously really enjoyable. We love the Final Fantasy franchise, so really enjoyed that. And then this one, I had to go back and look because I did not even realize that I played it at the beginning of 2023. I thought I had played it in 2022, but Ghost of Tsushima, one of the greatest games that I missed out when it released on PS4, but I was able to play it on PS5 and really, really enjoyed it. What are your honorable mentions, Nick?
What do we got here? Armored Core. It was a game that like I played intensely for like 5 hours, and then I got distracted, and I just needed to get back into it.
But it left an impression.
Yeah, I loved what I played. I think I'm very not good at that game, so like I'll definitely need to
when you add the
leverage guides and all that stuff. But
when you add the air aspect of it, where you gotta balance yourself flying around, that makes it harder.
Yeah. So Armored Core, Street Fighter 6. So it's a game that we played a lot of.
We had anticipated it for so long.
We had anticipated. I played a lot of. And yeah, I mean it's a fantastic game. I think it was just speaks to the quality of like all the other titles that came out this year that has happened to like more, but really like Street Fighter 6. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
I love that one. I love that one.
It's
I'll
just
talk about it in my
just
closing thoughts because I also
just
played it.
Just a banger. Just
But
a banger.
it just missed out 2023.
It was good. I was worried. I thought it would be too much Yakuza.
Not Yakuza anymore.
Leading up,
It was too much like a dragon.
you know what I mean. Too much like a dragon, leading up to Infinite Wealth, which is probably, it's definitely one of my most anticipated games of this year, if not the most anticipated. And I'm not like the biggest fan of the Kiryu led games, which
Yeah,
I know is
I'm
maybe kind of
more,
an insane thing.
It's a more of a me thing than you.
Yeah, but I played it. I really enjoyed it. So that's definitely up there. Another game that I feel like doesn't really get any credit is I can't remember the title. It's either pronounced Theater Rhythm or Theat Rhythm.
I think it's Theater Rhythm.
Theater Rhythm,
Or it could be
it's
Theater.
yeah, it's like classic Square Enix. Like, who the fuck knows how you pronounce their shit? But I'm gonna say Theater Rhythm. Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line. That's the basically the Final Fantasy music rhythm game. I like that was a great. Like, I'm sure I talked about it for a couple weeks during closing thoughts. I don't even really remember when it came out. I think it was earlier on 2023.
Yeah, I know you talked about it for a bit.
That's just a great game. That was my first time playing that specific franchise. I think there had been prior installments of it, but I'm a big music rhythm guy. Huge Final Fantasy music fan.
Love that Final Fantasy music, man.
It's just a fun. You haven't played the game, right? There is a demo.
No, I suck at and I hate. I'm not good at rhythm games.
But I think the music is, and there's like light RPG mechanics to it as well, where you kind of like collect characters from all the different franchises and you level them up. And
now, real quick, and I can't believe I didn't ask you this, but I know you said Final Fantasy, but does it have other music from other Square Enix titles like Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger, like all their titles kind of thing?
I don't know about Dragon Quest. I think Dragon Quest would be a touchy subject, but Chrono Trigger, Live Alive, yeah, there's several other titles there. So,
damn, I should have just asked you to play it in front of me so I could watch you play it.
It's fun. No, it's super fun. And I think I didn't like platinum it or anything, but I think I pretty much played the whole game. So I really enjoyed that. So
nice. Little diamond in the rough,
Yeah, and I guess it's like kind of fairly niche, just because it's it's a music rhythm game, but it is Final Fantasy. So I really enjoyed it. And then the final one is Alan Wake 2.
Very controversial. We're still gonna do that review.
It's
eventually.
To me, it's honorable mention worthy. It's not game of the year worthy.
Yeah, that's why it was also an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's give our top 3 games of the year. We'll start off with the one that we both have, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake. So obviously coming out early in the year, early 2023. Amazing game. I think it just blew so many people's minds because it was just as good as the original was that everybody loved, but also everything that they added with it, whether it be the extra missions or different routes, much more information from the characters and all that stuff. Oh, hello, little Louie. So definitely there's a reason why we both chose it. And also it looks freaking great, and it's Resident Evil. You want to say Resident Evil stuff?
I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. It's one of the few games, maybe the only game, that I completed and then immediately completed it again. Like
That sucks to do, because a lot of games ask you to do that these days, and you're like, I don't want to fucking go through this again.
Yeah, exactly. Most games, it's more common where you're like 70-80% into a game and you're just like, come on, like let's wrap this fucker up, and then you got to do a bunch of bullshit just to get to the finish line. So that rarely happens. I've owned and played the original so many times. So the pre-remake version of RE4, like I don't know how many times it's been like remastered or HD versions or whatever, but and I never beat the game.
Oh wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
like I don't know if that was made clear or not, but like I played the game like a number of times. I just never fully completed it. So yeah, I think it was just like a combination of just like, quality of life stuff. The game just like looks incredible. The production value is insane. Why do you have a shit-eating grin? You're muted.
Oh, I'm also muted. Oh my god, 2024. I just realized I'm streaming and not recording. So I'm streaming our episode, which is hilarious.
Well, we still have a recording, right?
Yeah, it'll still be a recording.
Okay, that's fine.
But
We're streaming.
We're
streaming.
Yeah, I just got a message from it's a fucking Twitch ad or something from somebody, and whatever. Fuck it. Let's keep rolling. Ali is in the chat. He's confused. Whatever. Whoever's listening to this,
I think this is great. Maybe this is our new model for 2024. We just stream. That's like a lot of people do that, right? They just do live streams of their podcast and then just create an on-demand version.
Yeah, that could be doable.
I think they probably spend a little time editing the live stream, that's not something that we would do. Like we would just
we got it down packed. Yeah. And we got it down packed. But continue your thoughts on Resident Evil.
I was like, I don't think he's making that face based on what I'm saying, so something must have happened.
I'm hungover. I'm hungover from 2023.
Yeah. And then in case anyone's wondering, I'm watching a puppy, so I'm extraordinarily distracted right now. So that's why. If I'm distracted, that's why. But yeah, RE4. It was so the remake was done in a way that got me to finally finish the game, and then finish it again immediately after finishing it the first time. And I think that's all I need to say about how much I appreciated that. I have not gone back into the DLC.
The Ada Wong Chronicles or whatever it's called?
Yeah, the Separate Ways DLC.
I gotta go in it myself. I stopped playing it.
I did, yeah. So I still need to do that. And the only reason I didn't do it is just because just maybe the other two games that I'm going to talk about are reasons why I didn't get back into the RE4 DLC. But it was great, and I think there was a lot of steep competition this year with lots of really great releases. I think if it was less of a crowded year, maybe this could have been like a Game of the Year thing. I know another knock against it is that it's a remake, and so I think that certain people will discredit the merit of the game because it's a remake. I personally don't like. I don't care. Like, to me, it's just like, is the game amazing? Yes or no?
Well, the last point I wanted to make on that is like, I like what they did with a lot of remasters this year, with Dead Space and Resident Evil. Funnily enough, to horror games. I think they added enough new stuff where you're like, oh, I do want to go back even though I played this game before or whatever. I think that's what they should be doing with future remasters and remakes. Hopefully they stick to that, because yes, I do want to play old games, but give me some new uncut content. I know The Last of Us remaster or whatever it is doing that, so bring it on 2024. Bring on some good remakes. All right, this one, my second favorite game of the year, is very controversial, but more controversial to Nick because he thinks like I didn't play it enough, but it's Street Fighter 6. And very like weird for me to say it, especially.
Bro, you don't even know how to like block my throw.
Shut up.
How can
I know,
this be your game of the year?
that's a fucking lie. I know how to block your throws. It's just they catch me off guard every now and then, but I do know how to block them. The reason, well, that's why I'm gonna give my whole spiel. The reason,
all right, I'll shut up.
the reason I even though I only played it for like a month and a half, obviously it was a very good year for games. So there was a lot of other games. I'm not great at it, but I did enjoy the heck out of it whenever I was playing it. Especially it being a fighting game. I'm not a big fighting game fan. I'm not a big sports game or racing game fan. So I was very surprised that I really liked this one. And like I said before, I've liked this one once we saw how it was shaping up to be in terms of like the graffiti and the characters and all that stuff. And when we got to play it in EVO when we went that year. And I've kept up with it in terms of knowing the characters and also watching a lot of the tournaments. So I think even though I didn't play it too much, it made such an impact in 2023 for me that I decided to put it up there. I might not be great at it, but doesn't mean it's not a great game, especially for a fighting game and how solid it is. And the characters, I just love the characters, and I do want to get good at it. I think that's the other aspect of it that like, I'm still thinking about it in 2024, and I want to keep playing it in 2024. But yeah. Say what you think about me picking this, even though I didn't play it too much, and apparently I really suck.
No, I just thought it was interesting, mainly because you just didn't play it that much.
Yeah,
like that's it.
You know what?
But I'm glad. It's interesting to know how highly you think of this game, and I think that's great. I think we just need to. We're in the same boat. Like, even though I'm definitely better than you at the game.
You said it like it's a big gap from other people.
We're still both absolute garbage.
Yeah,
at the
that's
game,
what I'm saying.
I just wanted to like shit on you a little bit before I acknowledge that I'm trash at the game. But I think that's something that again, it's just because it's been so busy with games. I think if it wasn't for that, I might have had the time to like actually be like, you know what, here are my mains. I'm gonna like learn everything about them and lab and play online a ton, and maybe we could have even done some stuff locally. We
still got to do a tournament.
Yeah, I'll do a tournament. I'm gonna get like, even it doesn't matter how much I practice. Like, I'm going 0-2, but that's fine. Like, I want to go for the experience.
Yeah, but we have goals in 2024 to, one, get better at Street Fighter and maybe go to some tournaments, and two, do a pressing buttons tournament for the people that have it. No prizes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but
do you have any more Madden codes, or that was a one and done?
That was if I get more Madden codes, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get some free stuff. Capcom, if you're hearing this, give us some codes for people. What is your second best game of the year for you?
Spider-Man 2.
Solid choice.
Yeah, and I don't know if I need to elaborate on that too much. We had our video review where we went
our first ever Buns press review,
which you estimated to be a 30-minute long episode before we recorded, and ended up being
an hour 20 or
2 hours.
No, not that long. An hour 20.
No, okay, hour and a half. Let's call it an hour and a half. So, all my thoughts are captured in that video review. It was just excellent. Probably one of the best, if not the best, Superman game or superhero game, and best Superman game ever was Spider-Man 2. You heard it here first.
Until they make one, I totally agree with you. I would have put Spider-Man 2 if I hadn't picked my next game, but definitely, we don't have a lot to say because we've said a lot already with our review. Go check that out if you haven't. It's on our YouTube channel, and play it because you'll definitely enjoy it if you have the opportunity. And then my last one, which is, I would say it's my number one out of all three, and the reason I left it for last, and very, very surprising. And the reason I picked this was because you picked this last year, but it's Yakuza Like a Dragon.
No, I did it. I picked it the year it came out.
No, you didn't. You picked it a year after it came out.
Oh no, it was released at the end of the year, so we would need to get into like a very specific like cutoff, kind of like how with the Oscars, there's like the movies came out in December, but it's
we'll have to do a whole timeline situations.
Thing. But to me, it was an appropriate time period. I played the game for like 120 hours. So like,
I think this game came out in 2019. And then you played it like in 2021. It came out on Xbox. Remember, it didn't come out in PlayStation and I think PC until later. Whatever. There was a whole release. There was a whole release thing because Xbox had the rights or something, and that's why it only released on Game Pass and Xbox, and then it released on PlayStation and PC, I think. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. And also, it's my list. But the reason, obviously, Nick was saying how great it was. I'm a big fan of the Yakuza series. I'm a big fan of the protagonist Kiryu. I think he's I love the beat 'em ups aspect of it. I thoroughly enjoy the setting of it in Japan and just kind of the Japanese culture of it. And I love the minigames. And this being a full-on RPG, I never really thought about it because I was like, I like my regular type of RPGs, like the old school medieval, give me a world, dragons, all that stuff. And I started playing it because I was looking for something to play, and I had it downloaded on my PlayStation Plus list a long time ago, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I put so many hours into it. There's so much to do in the game. It's an enjoyable game, and I think it just clicked. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Yakuza series, and this is that, but in RPG form, and I think it worked really well. Also, the story is like some of the best storytelling, I think, in any video game. Obviously, you don't have to know the prior Yakuza games because this is a new hero, Ichiban, who's also a great hero. With introducing a lot of new characters, you see some of the older characters too. But I think just the story aspect of it, I think it's really well too. It's really well done. It makes you really care for the characters and what they're going through and what's going on in the world. And I'm really, really excited for Infinite Wealth that's coming out at the end of the month. We'll talk about that on the next episode for our games that we're looking forward to this year. But I'm all in on Yakuza now, like a dragon. Like before I was just give me the Kiryu, beat 'em up. Now I'm like, give me both, man. Give me both. I think it's amazing. So that is why it's my game of the year, third best game of the year, first one for 2023, even though it came out like 4 or 5 years ago. But it's mine. It's my game. So there you go. That's why I love it.
Top game. How I'm like, you can almost kind of like go back to all of our episodes and how many times I was like giving you shit about not playing this game.
It's very similar to like when me telling you all those times to watch Andor and you still haven't done it.
No,
so maybe
the difference is I'm never gonna watch Andor.
Okay. I also said I would never play Like a Dragon, but here we are. We are.
Yeah. I'm just gonna predict that there's no way that I'll like Andor as much as you like a Dragon.
Yeah, we'll see. But
that's great. No, but shit talking aside, like I'm glad you finally played this game. I can't believe it's your again. There's so many. It's like the best.
Oh yeah, one of the best years.
One of the best years. It's like it's either number 1 or number 2 in my opinion of years that had the most number of like insanely great games. And the fact that you picked a game that came out a few years ago, I think says a lot about the game, and that's pretty great that the sequel is weeks away.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'll be like burned out at all. Like I think we talked about that a little bit, where it's like, maybe you'll just gonna get like burned out on the formula, and by the time you get into the new game, you'll be tired of it. And the joke we made is it'll be like watching the first 3 John Wick movies.
Oh, back to back. The first 3 and then watching the 4th.
Yeah. So I made the mistake of watching the first 3 John Wick movies to get hyped for John Wick 4, and that was one of the worst decisions of my life because it's just like too many headshots. Like there's only so many headshots you can you can take in a 3-day period. But and you played the demo, right?
No, I
From
haven't played the
okay,
Infinite
yeah. At this
Wealth Hub
point,
demo.
at
I
this point,
I'd
don't
probably
play
play a
it.
little bit of it, but not too much.
I wouldn't worry about it because nothing carries over. The story, I would do the story bit because
Yeah, I want to
it's
know
interesting.
why he,
Definitely do the story. Then so there's two modes. There's like a story mode, and then there's like I think they call it like Hawaii mode, which is just kind of
Hawaii
like
mode.
yeah, it's just like the sandbox. Like there's a little area where you can kind of do whatever you want. I would not mess with that at all. I
Gotcha.
would
Yeah, I want to do the story because, like I said, everything's great, but the story also really shines.
yeah, and so I did play both demos, and it's just like it's what you know from the first game, but it's just like on steroids. It's just like there's everything's bigger. There's way more systems.
You're in
So
Hawaii.
you're in
The map
Hawaii,
is bigger,
which
like
I
so much
which
things.
I yeah, which I actually was like kind of viewed it as like a negative thing because like one of the reasons I like the game is it's I'm fucking in Shibuya or whatever Kamurocho or whatever they call it, and you're just kind of like cruising around the streets of Tokyo. Like that's part of the charm of the series to me. So not that I was necessarily against it, but I thought that it was like a creative risk for them to be like, hey, you know what, leaving Japan, we're gonna be in Hawaii, but I'm sure you'll go back to Japan at some point. And I think the man who erased his name kind of gave me like it scratched the like being in Japan itch enough
Yeah.
where I feel like it's like all right, let's just go to a new place and Ichiban's great and uh, I think it's going to be a massive game and I'd recommend you just kind of go into it blind with exception of that story
All right.
content which I think is good. It basically connects Kiryu to like why he's in Hawaii.
Yeah. That's what I was
Maybe,
looking for.
maybe they cover it in the actual game, but I think they made a comment about this being like unique story content to the demo. So I think it's real short, so I would just do it.
All right, I'll check it out. What is your third best game of 2023?
Do you have a guess?
Well, I know
Based
the
on
answer
my
because I
Oh yeah,
saw
don't
it,
look at the
but
notes. Yeah, never mind.
I
No,
would
you cheated. You
have.
cheated.
It's the notes.
You're a no good trickster.
As much as we tell people we might not prepare as well, we prepare sometimes.
Yeah. Earlier you were actively telling me to not write notes, which I thought was pretty funny. So
That was the inside joke, guys. You can't do inside jokes
Ball.
that the crowd won't get. But
That's
yeah,
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
what's your game of the year?
It's Baldur's Gate 3.
I kind of would have
Uh,
known this anyways because you talked about it so much. But yes, continue.
don't patronize me. Let me talk about my game. You talked about my game of the year from 3 years ago. Let me talk about Baldur's Gate 3, which actually came out this year. Although technically it was in early access for like forever.
So there you go.
So, who
Bam, you
knows?
shot yourself in the foot. Good job.
Yeah. Maybe it's not exactly. Maybe it's not all that different. I don't know. But yeah, to me, it's Baldur's Gate 3. I think when we were doing our predictions for the Game Awards and really just like any awards show, I was pretty convinced it was going to do a lot of sweeping, which I think it like basically did. I don't think it like 100% cleaned up everywhere, but I think it got pretty damn close to that. So I was glad to see it. I think it's just it's an unbelievable game. Again, there has been so many incredible games that came out this year. I mean, by the way, we haven't even like talked about like Zelda and some of these other like giant titles that came out. So this was like just a wild year for games. And in my mind, like Baldur's Gate 3 is like just in a completely other level than all of these other like unbelievable games. So to me, I was actually just thinking about this like before we were recording. It's like this might be like my number one game of all time. Like that's
Whoa.
like
Might have
Yeah,
to.
like
We might have to rearrange that list that we
so
made a couple months back.
like it's easily top 10, and then probably pretty easily top 5, and then it's just like, okay, then what is it competing with? And I think what's important, it's like I'm not a fan of this genre of game. Like
Yeah, I
I've
think that's why I
tried,
haven't played it,
I've
but I get it.
I've tried these games multiple times because they generally get like a lot of critical acclaim and like a very, avid fan base. So I think because of that, I've tried this genre multiple times. Particularly the Divinity series, which is also from Larian Studios. So like the genre like isn't really my thing. But I think they just like executed in such a way that it was, I don't know, like a little bit. I don't think it's like that accessible of a game, generally speaking, but it was like accessible enough for me. But everything else is like so good that you want to actually go through the barriers of learning how to play the game because all the characters are amazing. It looks incredible. The amount of choice you have with literally everything is insane. Um, so yeah, to me, it's Baldur's Gate 3. That's on my agenda is to get you to play the game.
Yeah, we'll see.
You will fucking lose your mind, dude.
I think
Like
I totally
I
get it.
know.
I'm not saying I don't. I
Like
totally I get it.
the only reason I'll accept you not playing the game is because you're worried how much you're going to play the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like
Okay.
I knew I was gonna play every other game a lot, but this one I feel like because there's so many options, there's so many things to do, and that's the other thing which it's not a negative for the game, but it's a negative for me. It's that option of freedom, which is one of the reasons I wasn't a big fan of Breath of the Wild because it's like here, do whatever you want to do, and that kind of I love my give me a dungeon, I'll go to that one, then go to the next dungeon kind of thing. So I think that's
Well, it's
a
it's
negative for
like
me, but I feel like it works for a lot of people, and I know it's a great game. Maybe I'll play it. We'll see. We'll see how 2024 is.
so yeah. I don't want to get like too detailed or like defensive or whatever, but like it's like kind of an open world game for like a while. Like I was actually surprised by how I thought it was like pretty linear, and then there's like a few choices that are like you either go this way or you go this way, and then so there's some of those choices, but in terms of like the more of like the moment to moment, just like gameplay, like it wasn't like that so I really don't think it's like open worldy like Zelda is. To me it's like all the choices, it's like the character interactions. So like think about it, it's like with Zelda, if you talk to an NPC, it's like, hey, how's your day, you want some stew, or it's just like dumb shit like that.
The same dumb shit
Whereas
over and over, whereas this is more.
yeah, this is like literally every person you talk to, it's just like it could go anywhere, like
And
anything could
I love
happen.
talking to people.
Yeah, I know. So it's like that's why. So to me, it's like if you think about it as just like this really well done way of like interacting with NPCs, and then like all those choices like carry forward and have an impact, which I know is like it's a thing you hear of. A lot of games always like preach about like, oh yeah, like all of your choices make an impact and blah blah blah. But like, and I think some games have done versions of that for sure, but this is just like on a whole other level.
Yeah, I watched like a 3-minute video somebody made on Twitter, like of the choices that some people made and like how far reaching it was and extended in the world, like
Yeah,
it mattered kind of thing. So
it's
that was
it's
pretty cool.
wild,
Like
dude.
bearing 2020 at the end of 2024, because we know the beginning is going to be really really good as well for video games. I think maybe I'll save it for the back half of 2024. don't
It's got to
don't
be back half because
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
Q1 is stacked,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and you
saying.
know what's happening in Q2, right? You promised me.
No, I don't remember what I promised.
You serious?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes, we'll do that. Well, don't worry, that will happen. I forgot, and they just had that Dawn Trail. But yeah, there you go. Those are our top games of the year for me. We had Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 6, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon. And then for Nick, we had Resident Evil 4, Spider-Man 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. Um, Before we move on to the movies and TV shows, any disappointments? I know we had Starfield stinker of the year for a while. It wasn't a stinker, but it also wasn't.
That wasn't a disappointment. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I was actually surprised. I thought I would actually need to go back and look at the reviews, like the actual like Metascores and all that stuff, to see how that has trended after several months after release now. Because I feel like Bethesda always like cherry picks shit and tries to like goose up their scores right around launch. So I was actually surprised by how high it scored. But that might have gone down since then. So I just don't care enough because I think the game's a stinker, and I think that's more or less been the feedback. So
I mean, no, go ahead. My bad.
No, you go for it.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, besides like the really horrendous like games that released that we know were bad, like there was a King Kong game, there was a Golem game or whatever. Surprisingly, I do agree with you in Starfield, but also Diablo 4, because the Diablo 4 hype was so much, and when it released, everybody really loved it. They played a lot of it, but it's kind of gone to the wayside. I don't know if it's because of the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Microsoft or something like that, and they're just kind of still figuring it out. But it has been kind of pushed to the wayside where like you don't care about it. Whereas
it's Activision.
Yeah. Whereas
it's Activision being Activision.
Whereas a bunch of other like live service games you still hear a lot about, and stuff is working. So Diablo 4, I think to me in 2023, kind of disappointing with the fanfare and everything like that.
You know what I'm going to say is the biggest disappointment. Final Fantasy 16.
No, I will not. We will not talk about this. This is we always.
It's not on your list.
Yeah,
it's
because
not even an honorable mention.
It is on my list. It was on honorable mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not even paying attention. I know you were busy with Louis, but
yes, I think it might have been Louis. That might have been Louis the puppy.
If I hadn't put Like a Dragon, I think because if I hadn't put Like a Dragon because it came out in a different year, I probably would have put Final Fantasy 16. It was a strong contender.
Interesting. Okay.
Enjoy the heck out of
it. To me, it was very disappointing across a number of dimensions. And I feel like people like get mad at me, and I'm like, to be clear, I want this game to be incredible. Like I want to love this game. I love Final Fantasy. Yoshi P is someone who I deeply admire. He might be like my number one like person in the games industry. He's the guy who does Final Fantasy 14. So like, and this was his first crack at a mainline Final Fantasy. So like, because I'm a fan, like, how many people are fanboys of producers of games? So to me, I'm like, oh, like he's gonna do a mainline game. It's gonna be incredible. Like I want it to be amazing. So like, yeah, like so maybe I just had too high expectations. I'm not sure, but like I wanted to love the game for a lot of reasons. I felt like it was okay. It's a good game. But it's not. To me, it's not what I expect from mainline Final Fantasy, and it's not what I wanted from like Yoshi P's first crack at a mainline Final Fantasy game. So
I think the main thing is that you keep saying it's a disappointment, where you could just say, not my favorite Final Fantasy, because there's so many of them that definitely, for a lot of people, they like some more than others. Just say not your favorite one, and I think and other people will start giving you shit.
But it is like, I am genuinely disappointed by this game.
Well, I hate you so much. Every time you bring it up, I have to. I hate you so much. It's not bad.
It's disappointing, and that's before even getting into like the PlayStation exclusivity and the performance issues.
We're not going to get into that because
that's going to set me off.
Yeah, it'll set me off. It'll set you off. It'll add another hour to this podcast.
So to be clear, the game is disappointing.
That made it worse.
And because it's a disappointing game, it is one of the. It's like this is not gonna stand the test of Final Fantasy franchise time. Like people will look back and be like, this is not a good game. Unlike games like Final Fantasy 12, where that came out, which was kind of polarizing because like the battle system was like, like this is Final Fantasy, and then it was just like, now years later, people are like, oh, that's like, that game is brilliant.
If they would have called it Final Fantasy Devil May Cry, I'm pretty sure you would have been like, okay, I get it. But that's the problem.
Call it Stranger of Paradise 2.
Yeah, that's the problem, that they didn't call it that. I just thought about Redfall, but I don't even want to get into that. But that also came out in 2023. Disappointing. That was very disappointing.
That was disappointing because we consistently talked about that being like our next game night game.
Yeah.
You know, just like co-op online, jump in and kill some vampires, and
yeah,
I don't think anyone even bothered with it.
That just came into my mind. I think I saw that like maybe 5 people were playing it on Steam or something. All right, so let's move on before we make this episode any longer than it already is. And we're gonna do, obviously, when we do our closing thoughts at the end of the episode, we like to talk about what we've been playing during the week and what we've been watching and what we really enjoyed. So we'll just give each a little breakdown of the movies and TV shows that we really enjoyed for the year. I will like to give a little bit of a shout out to Blue-Eyed Samurai, which I caught late in the year. I think I believe it came out in the middle of the year, but I didn't catch it till the end. It was on my radar, and I think that was the best show I saw all year, at least new show. It's an animated show about a samurai that's looking for these men. It's set in, I believe, 1400s Japan or something like that, samurai era Japan. The animation is really well done. It's got that style of Arcane. If you guys have seen Arcane, it's got that animation style, but it's very mature themed. There's a lot of blood, a lot of limbs getting cut off, teeth smashed, just a lot of killing, which I think it's done really well, where it's not exploited too much. I think it's done well. The story's really good as well. It got renewed for a second season. Hopefully they're able to do as many seasons as they need to wrap up the story. I know Netflix is known for kind of canceling things before they're done. But that was my new show of the year. Definitely check it out if you have the chance. You won't be disappointed. As far as the other stuff, for movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Saw that twice in theaters. I think I've seen it 3 times after it came on Blu-ray and at home. Great movie. I mean, obviously we love the Spider-Man character so much, and the movie's so well done. And I can't wait to see part 3, whatever it's called. So Blue-Eyed Samurai for TV, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse for movies. And then the other stuff that I wanted to mention that I really enjoyed, Nimona is a movie. Really enjoyed that. Watching Gargoyles, really enjoyed that. Definitely missed it, and I'm glad I was able to see the whole thing now as a mature adult, if you can call me that, with a different perspective. Jujutsu Kaisen, great anime. Slow Horses, great show on Apple Plus. If you haven't, or whatever the Apple streaming service is called, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Beef came out early in the year. I like the representation of the Asian community, and I like beef, so bring more beef 2024. Rick and Morty, I like what they did without Justin Roiland. I feel like it's gotten more mature, but while still keeping the funny and humor of it. I think you should leave. It's very underrated. Well, not underrated, but I feel like a lot of people don't watch it because of how insane it is, but you should check that out if you haven't. Justified City Primeval, love that. Love some Raylan Givens. Bring back Raylan Givens. Primo, very underrated show. It's a new classic. I think it's really good. It's a very heartwarming show. Twisted Metal, very surprising. Didn't think it was going to do that well. Shrink, really enjoyed. That one has Harrison Ford in it. Really, really good. And The Last of Us, obviously it's got so many awards already for the Emmys, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get some more. And continuing the trend of very, very good video game adaptations on television or film. So those are mine. What about yours? Not as long as my list, but
that was a lot, dude.
yeah, not as long as my list, but
I feel like you just watch so much more.
I don't.
Content than
I
I
always
do.
think about like how do I watch so much shit, and I just watch
I
it.
have no idea. So I feel like I almost like can't even say anything because you just have consumed so much more than me. So it's like, what does my opinion even mean? But we did have some overlap. Like I thought I would say like Beef is probably like my favorite show of the year.
That's because you haven't watched Andor, but continue.
Andor didn't come out this year, did it?
Yeah, but some of the stuff.
I forgot.
Doesn't have to be.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter the year.
It can come out whenever.
Yeah.
Probably between Beef or The Last of Us. Oddly enough, like I think The Last of Us is a very bad video game.
Oh my god! This is the episode where like I've rolled my eyes so much at your opinions.
The last like just The Last of Us and Uncharted. Like I've basically been consistently shitting on like all Naughty Dog games. Yeah, they're just not. They're very good stories. They're very good like interactive stories, but the gameplay isn't fun.
For you.
Well, for me. Yeah, there you go. For me.
You gotta add for me at the end.
Which is, by the way, not that dissimilar to Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I think Alan Wake 2 is a much better interactive story, even worse gameplay than Naughty Dog games. For me. So yes, that's the thing. So anything. I think it's funny that I've tried playing I think I own Last of Us, like every version of it.
You hate them so much, you keep giving money to them.
I keep giving them money. That's why I feel like pretty good that I can shit on them because they already have my money. So, so I've tried playing the game multiple times. I just get bored by it. Love the HBO show. That then was like, you know what? Let me try again to get into this game, and I bought it on PC, and then the PC version was just like an absolute disaster. So I think that was an omen just to stop trying to play these games.
It's gonna be very interesting if you buy.
I like the TV show.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting if you buy the remastered when it comes out at the end of the month, which I probably will because I never finished it.
Absolutely not. No, not doing it. But a couple other. I think you should leave. Like
always.
How? I mean, that's just.
He won an Emmy. He won an Emmy too for it. So,
he did.
Yeah. So good. Maybe it'll get more exposure.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that already, but I just wanted to plus one that. I think the only one that I liked that you didn't mention was Gen V.
I really liked it as well.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Like I could see why that's maybe not fronts. I mean, you just watch so much shit, so you have a lot more. Like I really like The Boys is one of my favorite shows, so I kind of like made an effort to make sure I could watch the companion series Gen V. And yeah, I thought it was very enjoyable. So, and looking forward to the next season of The Boys. I think for movies, like I don't like.
Well, Spider-Verse.
Did I watch any? There was. I think it's Spider-Verse.
We both saw Spider-Verse together. But yeah, I don't think I went to. Didn't you watch Oppenheimer? Was it Oppenheimer or Barbie that you saw in theaters as well?
I saw Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So didn't make the cut. Wasn't memorable.
It's just like it was cool to watch, but that's probably like one of my least favorite Nolan works.
Yeah. There's definitely like if it would have left an impression, I think you would have had it. Yeah. There you go. So that does it for our best game of the years. Damn it! I keep fucking up. I don't know what to call this. Our game of
it's on a live stream, so you're fucked. You gotta roll with the punches.
I was gonna roll with the punches even unrecorded, anyways. But that does it for like our games of 2023 that we really enjoyed. That's a very long title, and also
2019,
and also TV, and also TVs and movie shows, and I was gonna say movie shows, TVs and movies. for everybody that is on our Discord or just either watching this live or will be hearing the recording or watching the recording, let us know. Go to pressingbuttons.gg where you can access the link to our Discord and let us know what your games of 2023, whether they came out in 23 or not. Let us know what you really enjoyed playing last year, and also what shows and movies you really liked as well. We love to hear it. We also love to get some new recommendations. I know there was a lot that we kind of missed because it was a very, very stacked year. So let us know. We're all about the community. All right, so we're gonna move into some closing thoughts. I know this is a very long episode, but it's the beginning of the year.
What's our one time?
An hour 10. So good old hour that we do.
Okay.
We're gonna move straight into
a tight hour 10.
we're gonna move into some straight closing thoughts. I don't know. Straight. We're gonna move straight into some closing thoughts. I'll start it off. I obviously playing Yakuza Like a Dragon and kind of wanting to go back into that world. I finished up Kiwami 2, which is with Kiryu. I had started playing it a while ago, but right after part 1, so I kind of put it off because it was too much Yakuza. But I went back into it, played that, finished it, loved the story. I don't think I'll play the other ones. I think I'll just watch a YouTube video to get the story because they do really well with the story. So I want to know what happened between this and Like a Dragon Gaiden, which was the other game that I played. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, who, like Nick was saying, really enjoyable game. I really like the story of Kiryu. Definitely, it's a kind of passing the baton to Ichiban, so I'm glad I played that, and it kind of wrapped up a lot of things. The combat's really good with the new agent style. The characters are really great. The story it tells is really great. Very memorable characters. The mini games are really fun. So I don't think we could say it anymore, but if you have not checked out any of the Like a Dragon / Yakuza games, you're doing yourself a disservice. Check them out. They're really, really great games. And then I also started playing Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen because part 2 is coming out in March. I had purchased it a while ago, didn't really get into it. Then I saw a couple of videos saying what you should be doing in the beginning because they don't really do a good job of explaining how to navigate the beginning. And I'm enjoying it a lot more. And I'm super excited for part 2. And then as far as TV shows and movies and stuff like that, I just watched obviously Blue Eyed Samurai came towards the end, and we had that 2-week break between Christmas and New Year's. So definitely watching a lot of old stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean and shit like that. So, I had a fun Christmas and New Year's, and glad we had a little 2-week break, and now we're back. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like mine was less fun.
A baby and 2 dogs.
And I had the flu.
And the flu.
Yeah. So, 50% of that time off was just being like hallucinating.
Oh, that's the worst.
Bed.
You couldn't even game. That's the worst.
I can't remember. I think I might have been like texting you guys where, I don't know. I was trying to watch What If. So I was trying to watch the new season of Marvel's What If. And I was like so fatigued that I couldn't even like watch TV. I was like, I got like 2 episodes in and I'm like, this is too much energy trying to like sit upright and watch TV.
I hate those sick days the worst where like you're sick and you can't watch TV or play video games. Like those are the worst, man. Just get me sick where I can stay at home but still play.
Yeah, there's an optimal sick, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I was, couldn't do anything really. So unfortunately I didn't have quite as much time as I would have liked. But I have been playing a lot of Honkai. So there's a new, I don't even know what they call it. I guess it's like a new patch or just, there's like a ton of new content. Like I haven't played the game in a really long time. So, and it's one of those, my approach with like the Hoyoverse games is I kind of play them in like 2-week sprints every 6 months. Something like that.
That's a good approach. Good schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be more like 3 to 4 weeks just because I've been very distracted and I've been sick or whatever. But so I'm still kind of working through a lot of the new content that was launched. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like that's a good That's a good game to kind of bridge me because I had just completed a lot of like single player, AAA huge game, and I feel like this is like a good kind of like bridge game just to like kind of dive in and mess around with some stuff until Infinite Wealth comes out. So I'll probably continue playing Honkai, in addition to like all the other typical games we play like Fortnite and Rocket League and so on and so forth. I think we're going to try playing the finals, if that's even still available.
Well, I was gonna say we didn't mention a lot of things like the resurgence of Monster Hunter World, which everybody's getting into, and
Oh yeah.
kind of giving me the itch. The resurgence of Red Dead Redemption as well, because it's giving me the itch to get back into the Wild West and the Old West, and play that too.
You're getting too many itches, dude. You might
Yeah.
want to get that checked out.
Well, got to get the itch before Infinite Wealth. And then like the finals, like you said, that's also been hitting it really big. It's got that first-person shooter that everybody's been clamoring for, but also like the environmental breakage of Battlefield Bad Company, which was also really enjoyable. So, man, 2023 ended really well, and 2024 is starting off good. Got anything else? No?
Nah, man, I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah, trying to sort of until
Try
the
to play
games
some
come out.
games. Yeah.
Until the good games come out.
Until X-Men comes out in 2030.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I'm surviving for. The movies and the games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does it. Thanks again, everybody. Here's to a good 2024. We'll be with you as many weeks as we can. Obviously, sometimes life gets in the way. People have babies. People have kittens. Actually, people don't have kittens.
Gets in the way. What do you mean? How dare you?
No, I mean not in the way, but just things happen. But
I'm gonna let her know you said that.
no, don't. She won't
And then
understand.
Louis is furious right now.
Nick's other dog. Oh, Lenny came in and said hi. We're sorry that we kind of streamed this, and we'll put it later. It might be a thing we do. I don't know, but this is how the sausage is made.
Does this count? Can you just do I need to worry about publishing this to YouTube?
Yes, we got to put it on YouTube. It's only on Twitch. This is how the sausage is made. So we used to be bad at it. I think we've gotten better. But we do want to say a big thanks to everybody that has stuck with us for the last 2 years into the start of our third year. We do this because we love doing it. We love talking about video games, and everybody coming in and joining the Pressing Buttons community and just having a good time and playing video games. We really enjoyed that. So here's to year 3. Hope it's a good one again. And there's going to be some good games that we'll talk about. And keep coming. Keep joining us. But yeah, that does it for episode 89 of the new year. Well, not 89 of the year. Anyways, episode 89 in the new year. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick later.